everybody. It's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. How are you? What a weekend for me, anyway. Just the last night of Hanukkah, preparing for just 5 small families with young kids. By small, I mean that they have small children to come and light the menorah. I don't know how many of you saw that. It was amazing. It looked like a little bonfire of menorahs, and the kids just were inspired and enlightened by all the flames and the story of Hanukkah. Got them very excited, and so we had a really good time. So happy that you're all joining me here. I'm worn out. When it says feeling activity, I tapped drained because that is truly how I feel. I am not sure why cooking this meal, which I really only cooked half the meal. The other half I got latkes from my favorite deli, Bagel Mania. I got, let's see, what else did I get? I got lox and bagels from them. And I also got, I don't know why I can't think of the name, blintzes, cheese blintzes from them. And then I made brisket, beautiful brisket, which I really have to share that recipe someday with everybody. You'll just absolutely love this brisket. It's amazing. And I made the homemade applesauce, which I showed to all of you. I made on Friday. I did not take a picture. Well, actually, I did take a picture, but the pictures look terrible because the color of the applesauce, there was not enough contrast between the applesauce and the plates, and the pictures just kept coming out terrible. But I will tell you, quite honestly, that it was the most delicious applesauce anybody's ever had, and that entire pot of applesauce was gone yesterday. Hey, Mark Goldberg and Frank Solly, nice to see you guys. Happy beginning of the December holidays. Here we go. Just finished up Hanukkah. So, and Roseanne is here. Hey, Roseanne, how are you? Nice to see you. So, we're thinking ahead. I do want to shamelessly promote the Holiday Gather with Nanny Bubby, or Nanny Bubby's Holiday Gather. There is links in Gather. There's links right here on the Nanny Bubby page. Grab your favorite friend and come along. Thank you so much, Roseanne. I'm sure you saw the pictures. It was really beautiful. It just delighted me to no end. The kids were so cute and they enjoyed every minute of it. I, however, am drained and exhausted. I don't know why this took so much out of me, but it just did. I just like waking up all night long in leg pain. Now that you all know, hey, Susie, nice to see you. Now that you all know about the mustard trick, the mustard was only lasting about an hour, and then I had to get back up and go run for more mustard. It was really a tough night for me, but I'm having a massage a little bit later. Hey, Megan Wood, how are you? Nice to see you. So what I want to do is I'm starting out, so it's not too late or too early. You were in a menorah car parade in Sun City. How fun is that? Tell me about that. How do you have a menorah car parade? Everybody stick their menorah out? Well, if they do, doesn't it blow out? I mean, how do you have a menorah car parade? Or everybody just gets out of their car and lights their menorahs on top of the, I mean, I need to know more about that. I need to know more. How fun is that? That's really cute. So it's not too early to start thinking about, Christmas, which is only 19 days away for those of you that are celebrating. And we always have a big get together on Christmas Eve and Christmas night, just because the whole world comes to a stop, and why not gather with all of our friends and family on those days as well. And so that's what we do. And I have these leftover rolls from yesterday that we put our brisket in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut these up in big chunks, like 1-2 inch chunks. I'm going to place them right here on this rack, and I'm going to let them get kind of stale, and then I'll put them in the freezer, because I'm going to do a recipe for you around the holidays, which is a mushroom leek bread pudding, which I know I actually already did it, right? You saw me already do it for the day before Thanksgiving with Tom. That was the episode that Tom was on, where he was so funny. So I guess I'm not going to show you this, but I am going to show you the cutting of the bread right now. This is really fresh bread. These are the Rhodes bread rolls that come freezer frozen, and then you just defrost what you need to make rolls. I also, if you can believe, last night made homemade donuts. Hey, Teresa Anderson, nice to see you. And what I did is I let the dough rise until they got about this size, and then I took these and I placed them in hot oil and deep fried them, and they became donuts. And it was just the best and easiest thing to do. And then I had a donut making station for all the little kids, donut designing. And I found that these Rhodes bread dough rolls can be bread dough. I suppose if I had knotted them, I could have made like what looked like little challah knots, because I ordered challah knots at the deli and they forgot to include them. And so at the last minute, I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And I just thought, I'm just going to turn what I bought to be donuts into bread rolls for the brisket, and it worked. So I used half of them for donuts and the other half for brisket rolls, and they turned out good. So these are all that is left over of 36 rolls. So I am just going to take them and cut them. These are the last ones. Cut them, place them on this rack. I'll probably keep them on the rack for about a day or two until they get nice and hard and nice and stale. There you go, right on the rack. Then I'll just stick them in the freezer in the plastic bag that I used last night. And that way they will just keep until I make my next leek and mushroom bread pudding, which I think I'm going to make for New Year's, to be honest, just because it's so fantastic. And Tom decided to have a New Year's party. And so we're having a party and inviting some dear friends, close friends, to join us. So it should be lots of fun. So that's all that we're doing for with this right now. But I saved them to show you. I wanted to talk about the donuts. I mean, everybody thought that I had been making donut dough all day long, but little did they know I took out the Rhodes. They come in an orange package. They say Rhodes bread rolls. They're frozen. They're in your freezer section, Albertsons, Smith's, wherever you go, not Whole Foods. And then I just let them rise the way you would let them rise to make the rolls, but I deep fried them in canola oil. Ugh, canola oil, what? But listen, it's the most unhealthy thing you can use, but at the same time, just deep fried food is not healthy, and that oil is always the perfect temperature and fries beautifully. It's engineered to do so. So we don't eat deep fried very often, hardly at all. But if you're going to eat deep fried, use the canola oil, unless you want to use avocado oil, which costs maybe 10 times to 18 times more for avocado oil. So let me place these down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of things. Whoops, I lost a few things. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Nice to see you. And also, I do want to say to Roseanne's comment is that I got some piping bags. I filled one with chocolate syrup, one with raspberry jelly, because raspberry jelly donuts are a very Hanukkah kind of a thing. And then filled one with dulce de leche, which the dulce de leche filling was the best to pipe with because it wasn't so runny. Like the chocolate syrup was runny. I probably should have gotten fudge, chocolate fudge, because the syrup just like went everywhere. The raspberry jelly, maybe if it had been refrigerated first, maybe it wouldn't have squirted out so badly. But the dulce de leche was thick and it went in and it ribboned and it didn't pour out, and it was absolutely the best. So note to self, next year use fudge. Then we had blue sprinkles and pink sprinkles and icing and all kinds of decorating, and the kids really had a good time. Okay, hold on here. So I am going to, I know that I have never really gotten down and dirty with you about my kale salad. It's up on my website. I made it for Channel 8 when I first began, but I made it again last night, and everybody just goes crazy for this kale salad. So I have these ingredients right now, and I'm actually not going to make the whole salad, but I'm going to walk you through the making of it. And then as I get closer to the holidays, no doubt we're going to have kale salad because it's everybody's favorite, believe it or not. So I clipped these out of the garden. These are very small baby kale. This is the curly kale, but I'm going to let them keep growing. And by the time Christmas comes around, these are going to be big, beautiful leaves like in the grocery store. But what I want to do is I can demonstrate to you how to cut this kale so that it absorbs your salad dressing and it's never bitter and it's always very tasteful. So let me grab a paring knife 1 second. Thank you for your patience as I walk over here to get this. So the key to making the kale salad is the way that you cut out the ribs. So there's, especially in the kale that is, older, this is just really just sprouted recently. But what you want to do is cut out that rib. And the way that you're going to do that, let me tilt you down just a little bit, is I start with the twig away from me, the stem away from me, and I just cut down right like that, but I cut it off so it's still together up at the top, okay? And then you lay it down, and then we're going to take the next one here, doing that same thing. Again, these are just baby kale that I had out in my garden that I snipped just so I'd be able to give you a good demonstration. So there it is. It's torn up the middle for sure that you got the stem out, but it's still together at the top. The good news is we're going to take that and you're going to lay it right on top. Hey, Kathleen Bowman, nice to see you. We're going to lay that right on top of each other, and then we're going to take it and we're going to just roll it like a big cigar, okay? Just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just chiffonade it, which is French for, I'm not sure what it's French for, but I know that it's French. There we go. Okay, just working through it. Well, let me show you what happens. They're like little ribbons. Probably chiffonade means ribbon in French. I don't know. Anybody who speaks French, can you see that? So now what I've done, this is a big bag of the kale salad. Very, very big bag of the kale salad. And I actually used 3 heads of kale. And I made this bag, and then this bag was filled all the way up. Frankly, I should have finished it off with all of this because honestly, it went so fast you could barely, catch an eye to it. And first I cut it, then I put it in the salad spinner and clean it. It's so hard to clean kale that has been, when it's still big and leaved. Hey, Violet Hill, nice to see you. Yes, little ribbons is what chiffonade means. Okay, so Susie, you may not like kale, but I'm here to tell you this recipe you will love. So as you can see, I keep it stored once I clean it with a paper towel in the bag. It keeps it nice and dry, but moist at the same time. Doesn't get limp at all. And right now, if we don't make a kale salad to eat ourselves, here what we will do is we'll throw this into our smoothies in the morning with our protein powder, and everything feels good and looks good, and we go through this like crazy. So and no doubt we'll be using it though for the salad. So let me show you how it starts. Starts first, we're going to candy the pecans. So if you go on the website, nannybubby.com, and you look for kale salad, the recipe is there. Just look under food or recipes and salad, and you'll see it there. And the first thing I do is I start with chopped pecans. So let me take out, so now what I, see, Lisa absolutely refused to even try it, but she couldn't help herself because everybody was hemming and hawing about how good it was, right, Lisa? And then Lisa said, oh my God, I love that salad. So here we go. The chopped pecans, about a cup, maybe 2 cups of pecans, right? That would be about 2.5 cups of the chopped pecans. And actually, there's more, just a little more in here, so I'm going to put them all on. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our maple syrup, and we're going to candy these. And the way that we do that, get them all up into a nice mound, and we're just going to drizzle the maple syrup right over the top of these. Now, what I really like to do with these is I really like to sprinkle them, there we go, with some French sea salt. So hold on. Let's see, where is my French sea salt? Right here. So this was French sea salt that Tanya had given me. straight from France, actually, in this bottle. It's really amazing. And it's kind of grayish, which, oh, I can't get this open. That usually does the trick. Yep, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to take some of the French sea salt and just sprinkle it on top here. There we go. Because then you've got sort of that sweet and salty, which is just fantastic. And then I'm just going to lightly just sort of toss this. There we go. Just make sure that every nut is covered. I would imagine this would be really good with caramel brittle. And I'm just going to spread it out like this, just in one really nice pattern here. Layered, one layer. Don't let anybody sit on top of the other there. And I'm going to take these right now. Wash my hands. I have this great little, look at this. Somebody gave me this. Look at this. It says, everything tastes better when you cook it, when you make it together. Isn't that really cute? Isn't that adorable? Hey there, Violet Hill. Nice to see you. And Marcy Dvorak, nice to see you as well. Okay, so I'm going to take this right now and I'm going to put it in a 425 degree oven. I'm going to set my clock for 3 minutes, maybe 4 at the very most, and then you'll see what happens when I take it out. So let me just move over. Okay, and I'm here to tell you that after 2 years of the Chapman logo being stuck on my top oven, I used that oven so much that the heat loosened the sticker, and finally I was able to pull the sticker off the oven. It's been sitting there for 2 years. I can't believe it. So I thought that was really funny to share as well. Okay, so now the next step that you're going to add for ingredients, again, you can look on nannybubby.com for the full recipe. And I'm going to tell you that what we did is we always go back to Wynn, Las Vegas for our wedding anniversary because we got married at the Desert Inn Hotel. And of course, the Desert Inn is no longer there, but Wynn took its place. And we were having dinner at Wynn's Steakhouse, and I ordered the kale salad. And that's where the origination of this recipe started. It was, I could not believe that it was kale, and it was so delicious. And I just was amazed, and I came home and tried to duplicate it. Well, one of the things that they did, which is really lovely, but they've got a kitchen staff of 20 people, is that they grate fresh gala apples, and so they put fresh gala apples into the kale salad. Well, when you're cooking for 15 or 20 people for Hanukkah, which I used to, I didn't last night just because we just had a few children, young children with their family over just so that they could appreciate the tradition of lighting the candles. But nonetheless, when I used to have 20, 30 people for Hanukkah, you just could not grate gala apples and put them on the salad before they started turning brown. I'm just not sure what Wynn does to keep that from happening, except they must grate them right before the plates come out and toss them in the salad. So I thought, what can I do that will give it that great apple flavor, but not, turn brown? And what I found is these organic apples. They're oven baked. They're not fried or anything like this. They're not like fried potato chips are. They're baked apples. This is the Granny Smith, and this is a Fuji and other red apples, so it's a little bit sweeter. And I'll show you what they look like. And I use a combination of both of these in the kale salad. So here is what they look like, just coming out. They look like this. And what I do, here's one, you can see the green skin. Can you see that on it? And so what I have done is I have literally replaced the gala apple with Granny Smith's. And what I do is I just crunch them like this and get them into small pieces. And what really, I forgot to set the timer. So let me just set it right now. I have to look at these because they burn really really fast. So let me take a look at them. Yep, they're sizzling. So 2 minutes ought to really do it. You don't want to undercook them because then they won't actually become candied. But you don't want to overcook them, otherwise they'll burn. So, okay. So, all right, the timer will go off in just a minute. So I just crunch them down like this. The really great thing is that there's a Ziploc on top. And the reason I do that is that this enables me, when everybody's waiting for the salad, right, everybody is getting seated, it just enables me just to pour, and they're already crunched. I don't have to do any work. It's just pour the kale salad into the bowl right here. Pour the pecans into the salad. Pour the apples on top. Pour the already grated Parmesan cheese on top. And then the dressing, which I'm going to show you, which is magical. And again, you can go to nannybubby.com for this recipe. So here we go. This one is now done. And the reason that I open them before I do that is because there's a lot of air in the package, and in order to crunch them, you'd have to go through a lot of air. So these are the reds. These are the Fuji's, which is my granddaughter's very favorite apple. And I'm just going to leave it open, but just sort of crunch on down. There you go. And again, for a salad, I would use about half of each bag. What's really great is that when you bite into the salad, you get this balance of flavors. You get the Granny Smith tanginess, you get the Fuji red sweetness, you get the pecans and the salt, you get the Parmesan, the nutty flavor of the Parmesan cheese. It's just a mix of layer and layer and layer and layered flavors. So there's the 2 minutes. Let's take a look at this. Hold on. Okay. Well, yep. Perfect. Okay, they were just starting to turn brownish. So, okay. So I am going to just set this down and let it cool, because here is a Nanny Bubby tip. If you touch this right now while it is this hot, you are going to lose the skin of your fingers. I know. I have done it, and I don't want you to do it. So I'm going to set these down. I can feel the heat coming off into my face right over here. Well, that's cool while I finish crunching these down, and then I will show you. Now, you need to use, one of the things that I didn't tell you is underneath the pecans and the maple syrup is a Silpat, or a silicone baking sheet. And I will tell you, though I'm not a fan of the silicone baking sheets because they absorb flavors, and one time I ran one through the dishwasher, and literally I bit into my asparagus, and I knew I was tasting the dishwasher soap. So it maintains the flavors. When they get old, they get greasy and they just absorb all the flavors. And so I don't like to use them. I always use parchment paper, but for this, you definitely need to use a Silpat, so the silicone baking sheet. So there you go. So we've got the salad, kale salad. I show you how to cut it and how to store it. These are the apples. I'm telling you, people love this kale salad. They love it. And then now what we have is the way that in which we make the dressing. So here's the key to the dressing. First of all, we are going to use fresh blood orange olive oil for the entire thing. I use about a cup of oil, or a cup and a quarter of oil. Now, the thing about kale, unlike romaine lettuce or any of the lettuces, it doesn't wilt under the dressing. In fact, the kale salad is better if you take a few moments and dress it about 5 minutes before you're ready to serve it, and continue to toss it because it really absorbs the flavor. So here we go with the fresh blood orange olive oil from Temecula Olive Oil. We're going to use the apple cider vinegar. We're going to use a squeeze of 1 lemon. I forgot to get that. We're actually out, and then I remembered I have one on the tree, but it was too late to run out there. We're going to use some Dijon mustard, which I actually forgot last night. I cannot believe I forgot to put the Dijon mustard into the salad dressing, but it didn't seem to hurt it because it still went really super fast. And then about an ounce to 2 ounces in your salad dressing mixer, meaning if you use a measuring cup like I do to measure your salad dressing with a whisk, you're going to go up a cup for your salad dressing. You're going to go up about half a cup with your apple cider vinegar and your lemon juice combination, and then you're going to put about 2 ounces of maple syrup in there. You're going to put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard in there, and then you're going to whisk it up. You can certainly put it in the refrigerator. I put mine in the refrigerator overnight. The only thing is you just want to bring it out just so that the oil doesn't solidify. You want it to emulsify, but not to solidify. So usually if there's enough Dijon mustard in there, you're pretty good. It won't, because you've emulsified it with the Dijon mustard. So you don't have too much problem with it solidifying, but nonetheless, so it's okay to emulsify. You just don't want to solidify. How's that for languaging? Okay. And so here's the next step. Let me show you here. Let's see how hot this is. I think I might put on some gloves because I really fear this is just not cool enough. It's really not, but I'm going to try. Let me get some gloves here. Well, I'll tell you, last night as I was putting the donuts in and they kept rolling over and I was trying to get them to stay in, I literally submerged my fingers in the hot oil as if for some reason that would, my fingers went into like 480 or 380 degree hot oil. So needless to say, my fingerprints will never open a phone again because I don't have any. Anyway, I'm kind of tired of burning my hands and my fingers these days. I can always tell I'm kind of done for a bit with all the cooking and entertaining. I just need to back off and take a minute. So watch what happens. So this is good. As you can see, usually this will come off in one piece, but it just hasn't cooled enough. So if this were cooled, you would see it would just roll right off. Can you see that? And I am going to set it down. Let me get it off the hot pan here. In fact, I might just take this. Hold on just a minute. Let me just stick this real quickly, if I can, into the freezer. And just so that I really want you to see how easily this peels off. So give me 1 second. Oh, all over the floor. Not good. I'm trying to figure out how to get this in the freezer without it going all over the floor again. Okay, hold on. Stand by. Here I go. Ugh. Okay, this was a bad idea. I admit it. Let's see if I can get this in. I know I'm being very quiet because I'm concentrating on the best way to do this. Okay. All right, so it's in the freezer. I only lost one kernel here. Okay. All right, so we will give that just a minute to cool down because I really want you to see how it peels back. It's really fantastic. So just to reiterate while we're waiting for just a minute, you can use any maple syrup, Susie, but I would certainly use the dark amber and make sure you're getting real maple syrup. Don't just get an imitation maple flavored syrup. That's just Kale syrup with chemicals in it, so you don't want to do that. You could just stick outside here today. It's so cold. Where you are, it is, and as a matter of fact, Teresa, I was told by my farmer that a freeze is coming here on Thursday, which is great because it hasn't been cold here yet. but it's not cold today. It's still quite warm. So I know you could just stick it outside, right? I'll be able to do that. But right now it's still like 72 degrees in Vegas. We have not had a cold spell yet. I think we had one in early October where everybody's going, is it coming so soon? And everybody complained. And then when it went away and got warm again, everyone complained again. You know, no matter what, we're complaining here in the desert because it's either too cold to go out or it's too hot to go out. And if it's not too cold or too hot, then it's too windy. That is life in the desert. So I always have to laugh about that. Let's see. Any maple syrup? No, she says okay. You could stick it outside. You certainly could do that in Reno for sure. Okay, let's see how this is doing. And, oh yeah, there we go. Okay. It's still a little warm underneath, but you can see, do you see that? Do you see, let me tip this down because I don't want you to miss it. You see how it just kind of comes off in one big amazing piece like this. And then what you're going to do is, I usually let it cool totally. It would all come off in a complete one piece. But I'm going to stick it back in the freezer just because the minute that maple syrup hardens, then you just crumble this all, and I put it into a plastic jar, just like a quart plastic jar, and then just save it. And then, as I said, what I do is I just literally I pour in the salad, I pour in the apples, I pour in the candied pecans, I pour in the Parmesan cheese, I pour in the salad dressing, and it is absolutely, toss it about 5 minutes before serving it. Keep, when you walk by it, keep retossing it just to get those kale leaves really nice and coated with that amazing dressing. And you put this on the table and people, it's like going to In-N-Out Burger. Have you ever noticed when you go to In-N-Out Burger, people don't talk? They just eat and go, They don't talk. They just concentrate on what they're eating. But that's what happens to my kale salad, I'm very proud to say. So that's it for today, everybody. Um, I just wanted to remind all of you of Nanny Bubby's Holiday Gather. I hope you'll join us. It's just $97. The link is on the Nanny Bubby page. It's on the Gather page. It's on the Marla Letitia page. It's on Instagram. We're going to have a great time. People are signing up already, and I'm so happy. Seats are limited, so don't delay. If you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it and just come do it. We're going to have a wonderful time. I think I know I had something else to tell you. I'm just kind of crinkling all this as it's cooled now. And it kind of sticks together in your jar. So right before you serve it, again, go in and just give it a crumble. Get all that candied pecan just crumbled up and in good shape. It's so fantastic. These actually turned out perfect. And they're going to be like a salt and sweet because I put the French sea salt on it. And that's it for today. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. Good to see you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.